How in the world could anyone argue, is he a socialist? I mean, any person of the most modest sophistication in politics in Europe understands Obama is a socialist. What are they asking? Is he a socialist? They ask, ha, ha, ha. Oh, the right wing says he's a socialist. How crazy. How could you ask such a question? Of course he is a socialist. The correct question is, how extremist a socialist is his administration? That is the question. When you look at the shadow government of this interloper, and you look at the czars that this man has surrounded himself with, you have to say to yourself, we are in very deep trouble, and I don't know that we'll ever come out of it. It's true that two of the czars have been fired because they were found out. It's true that the two of them have been thrown out. I have in my hand a great magazine called Whistleblower by WorldNet Daily, and it's about the shadow government inside the mad world of Obama's czars. It's amazing. From Joe Farah put this out. It's astounding. I don't know how Joe does this, where he gets the stamina to do this. But the shadow government, as written by David Kupelian, is something everybody has to own, because Obama's czars, he writes, are unaccountable to anyone on earth but him. And they are a reflection of Obama's worldview and policy positions. They are a reflection of where Barack Obama wants to take America, and it's not a very pretty picture. Some of the names you know. Some of them you do not know. Some of them have been fired. Some of them have not been fired. The names are familiar. For example, Sunstein. Sunstein, who defends communism, but says the white majority opposes programs aiding blacks and Hispanics. He's a stone-hearted racist, in my opinion, answering only to Obama. The continuation of these czars, it gets worse. I mean, that's just one of them. Obama czar pick, a raving animal rights nut. Advisor advocated hunting ban and giving creatures the right to file lawsuits. That's Cass Sunstein. Obama, not courts, should interpret law, says regulatory czar. You hear? The King Obama should interpret law, not even the courts. You've heard of activist judges? How about an activist president, he says, should override the courts? Then you've got Douglas Lute, the war czar. Then you've got Ashton Carter, the weapons czar. Then you've got Melissa Hathaway, the cyber czar. Then you've got Joshua Dubois, the faith-based czar. You never heard of these people. Then you got the resigned Van Jones, the green job czar, formerly of Copwatch in Oakland, California. And then you've got Adolfo Carrion Jr., White House Director of Urban Affairs, another czar. Where'd these people come from? Earl DeVancy, stimulus czar. Anesh Chopra, technology czar. Rosa Brooks, on and on and on. Every one of them is an extreme leftist. Every one of them is off the charts on the left wing. Every one of them would be laughed out of any academic forum where there was a balanced panel. And yet here they are sitting inside the White House. All the president's czars. Ron Bloom, manufacturing czar. As a teenager, Ron Bloom spent his summers at a camp run by Habonim, a labor Zionist youth movement, which emphasizes cultural Judaism, socialism, and social justice. You say, well, what's wrong with that? I would say plenty is wrong with that. I grew up with red diaper doper babies. Every last one of them is a dangerous individual. Red diaper doper babies are dangerous to this republic, in my humble opinion. Shall I read on? I can't read on. Mark Lloyd, FCC diversity czar. Did you hear about this character? Have you seen what this hateful hate monger has written about the Federal Communications Commission and how this hate monger wants to take it over and fundamentally get rid of white people who are conservatives? Vivek Kundra, information czar. Dennis Blair, remember that character, the intelligence czar? And you wonder why we can't win in Afghanistan? How about Ezekiel Emanuel, MD, the de facto healthcare czar? Who is he? Well, he is the brother of White House Chief of Staff Rahm Emanuel. Well, what's wrong with that? Well, Ezekiel Emanuel has written publications which basically meters out health care and says that if a person is 65 years old, he has enjoyed 40 years more of health care than a person 25 years old, and that he should be treated differently than a 25-year-old. In other words, he does not have the rights to health care that a 25-year-old has. That's another one of the czars. Cameron Davis, Great Lakes czar. Daniel Freed, Guantanamo closure czar. Who is Daniel Freed? Where did he come from? Why is he even there? Why does he want to close Guantanamo? Why did he want to flood America with dangerous terrorists? Harold Koh, legal advisor to the State Department. Who was this dangerous character? Where did he come from? What did this man want to do? What does he want to do to your country? Richard Holbrooke, remember him? Richard Holbrooke cheered on as American bombers decimated Serbia during the illegitimate bombing of the Serbian people. I told you at that time it was to steal Kosovo from the Serbs. I told you in 1998 when it was happening, it was the worst 78 days of my life to watch our nation hijacked by Richard Holbrooke, by Madeleine Albright. They're war criminals, in my opinion. They took the United States Air Force and they repainted the airplanes. They put NATO markings on them, and under the command of the socialist Spaniard Javier Solar, they bombed Serbia into submission. They blew up every bridge on the Danube River, and with a little help from their friends in the media, not one picture was ever shown of the decimation done to the bridges on the Danube River by Bill Clinton, Richard Holbrooke, and Madeleine Albright. And it was all done in order to free up the Albanian people inside Kosovo, and to free up the Al-Qaeda members who were flying in and coming in to fight against the Serbs. You know nothing about the assassination of the Serbs. You know nothing about what was done to the Serbians by these terrorists, and yet Bill Clinton took the side of the terrorists. It's unbelievable to me. He is on the list. Richard Holbrooke, another great man, another wonderful great man. He's another one of the prominent politicians suspected of receiving sweetheart loans from the mortgage lender Countrywide at the height of the mortgage crisis. Condé Nast portfolio reported that deals offered to Richard Holbrooke and family members that saved thousands of dollars in interest payments may have bent rules. So it's always about the money. Just remember, it's never about principle with these people. They may look like leftists. They may talk like leftists. They may walk like leftists. But at the end of the day, it's all about money. It's always about the money. So if you want to see this full list of these dangerous extremists who are the shadow government in the United States of America, if you want to see the pictures of them, if you want to see the shadow party behind Obama's radical administration, George Soros, John Podesta, Bill Ayers, Carol Browner, Jeff Jones, and others, you have to go to my good friend, you have to go to my good friend, Joe Farah. You got to get Whistleblower Magazine, and you got to save this thing. It's a freak show. Unfortunately, it's not Ringling Brothers. It's the United States of America. I'll be right back.
Savage.